Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Shoulder Tap. We have a very special guest with us today, none other than my favorite risk manager at Topstep. Mr. Mick is back. The gods of disease and famine tried to keep him down, but he is back in full strength. Mick, how's it been?
Yeah, not bad. Sorry I missed last week. I missed you, Jack, and everybody else missed the segment, but fortunately had a little bit of backup. Food poisoning is not a fun thing, and then I had a little planned PTO on Friday, so it was nice having Ben and Brett cover for me, but I'm happy to be back in the seat. Feel like we're going to have some fun stuff to talk about today with a few of the traders. And I was happy to actually see JD before we signed on and see that he's got the reverse raccoon from our escapades out on Saturday on the water for the Air and Water show. I also got a little red myself. They've been keeping me inside lately.
It looked pretty nice. I've been curious, Mick, do you know what the food was that got you, or is that still a
I
mystery?
I 100% know exactly what the food was. Sunday Lollapalooza food. When the group that I was with, small group, we all got pizza, and everybody got pepperoni. I'll tell you, I can't remember the name of the spot that we got the pizza from because it was not just like any regular vendor. It was like establishments from Chicago. I do need to follow up and figure out what that place was exactly so I never fricking go there again. But I know they were cooking outside. It was a hot day. The pizza that I got looked like it had been sitting out for a while that day. And four of us got pizza. Everybody got pepperoni. I got pepperoni with bacon on it. So it was definitely the pork, the bacon that had did me in. But needless to say, I think I can go quite some time now without having pizza for a little while, regardless of where
Mm.
it's from or how good it looks. It's kind of spoiled it for me, and I might be a 2 time a week pizza kind of guy. So
Well, I'm
I'll
sorry
have
to
to
hear
find
that,
another
Mick.
staple.
I
Thank
hope you
you,
get
thank you.
back on the horse. So maybe, Mick, before we get to the cards today, we can do a run around and see which of our traders ate the pizza and which are doing okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of Chicago traders here. So was anybody else there and got pizza from that first vendor on the left side? I wasn't even sure we were going to be able to get regular food when we walked in the door. All the food stands were like donuts and funnel cakes and stuff like that, which in hindsight, should have just gotten myself a couple funnel cakes and stuff. But hopefully
Yeah.
nobody else got sick.
All right. Well, how are our funded traders doing today?
There's some red on the board today. We got a couple people that are doing well in the XFAs, but we don't have anything really to shout out in regards to the live account trading. I mean, we've had relatively narrow range and, not much going on in equities. And, as you know, Jack, most of our traders are trading equities. So kind of a quiet day there. But yeah, so nothing really shout out ish to share. I think we could kind of jump into the trading cards if we wanted to do so.
Let's do it. Let's dive into these bad boys.
All right, so I want to start out with our number one guy. Everybody's familiar with him, Rafa out of Israel. He's our number one on the leaderboard. And Rafa, I wanted to talk about him. I know we've kind of talked about him here and there a few times and throughout the production, but he had a $37,000 winning week last week. So I figured it was worthy to share a card, talk a little bit about his trading, and walk through that. Now, Rafa's down $3,400 today, hit his daily loss limit, but overall, he's doing pretty hot. And one thing I want to highlight or kind of summarize before going, I don't know if we go into the metrics or I kind of give my summary here, Jack, but I think Rafa, if you're looking at these metrics, 37% winning days, 36% winning trades, he's a really good example of how your metrics don't need to be super stellar to be wildly profitable or number one on the leaderboard at a prop firm as well known as Topstep here. So wildly profitable, average daily P&L $4,800, and he's been in this live account for 41 days too. So this is On average of these 41 trading days, he's taken out $4,800, and that's the sum of the wins and losses and everything like that. So this is really good stuff. Some of the juicy metrics we have here to talk about from his trading in the S&Ps and the NASDAQ is his best day is $52,000. Worst day, $7,800. And he doesn't even have an expanded loss limit. That was just slippage on large size. Average winning day, $20,700. And average losing day is minus $4,300. Again, there's slippage on the large size. So for the winning trades, which is probably a combination of per contract and per trade, average winning trade, $4,400. Average losing trade, minus $2,300. So the per trade risk reward is pretty good there. It's not exactly 2-to-1, but it's pretty damn close to it. You could call it 2-to-1 if you want, considering we're only a couple $100 off from a true 2-to-1. Some stuff that I really like here, and I have talked about it before, but just to reiterate, Jack, and I know it's stuff that you like, his average trades per day, he's only doing 3.5 trades per day. So this is someone who's got a strategy that they're very selective with what they're looking to take in these markets. They're not trading on a short time frame. Anybody looking at a short time frame, their 5-minute charts, that kind of thing, 1-minute charts, basing trades off the short time frame is normally going to have a high number of trades per day. Rafa does not. He's very selective, basically 3 rounds in the chamber, 3.5 rounds in the chamber kind of thing. And the hold times correspond with those selective trades that are taken per day. Average winning trade duration, 5.5 hours. Average losing trade duration is sub 2 hours. So, seeing this, it tells me not only, not only are they selective, but they're looking to catch the trend for the day. I say most successful day traders catch a piece of the trend for the day, whether it's, 10% or 60% of the trend. Rafa is looking to catch the whole damn thing, as they say. And, it really goes to show that he is on those winning days catching the whole trend for the day. He's someone that we have that the risk team has conversations with. It's like, hey, you're up 20 grand. Let's make sure we lock something in. Hey, you're up 40 grand, 50 grand. Let's make sure that we're locking in X percentage. What are your plans if this trade starts to go against you? Where are you going to call it quits on the day? Where are you going to cut the next trade if you take it? Where are you going to cut the trade that you're currently in? And I'm happy I'm mentioning this right now, because if this is not something that some of our traders or our viewers that are watching right now are considering, take it from the number one guy on the leaderboard. It's something that you've got to be considering, especially if you're finding yourself, if you're up $10,000 in a day on a trade and you've never been in that position before, you have to be thinking ahead and saying, what am I going to do with this? If I'm up 10 grand, and I continue trading, or I keep this 15 lot on, or this big position on, where am I stopping? Am I, going to stop if I give back half of it? Am I going to stop if it, it goes 2,000 against me from where I'm at right now and end the day up 8,000? Because, if you don't have a plan, chances are if things start to go awry or sideways or against you, you're not going to know what you're doing. Obviously, if you don't have a plan, you're not going to know what you're doing. And then you can find yourself in a position where, potentially your best day could turn into a losing day. Someone who's up 10,000 in the example I used, turning a $10,000 day into a $3,000 losing day, or a $13,000 swing. That's not who you want to be. That's not where you want to be. That's not money management. That's not planning ahead. So we all have to be planning ahead, thinking about what we're going to do if, the scenario or the market flips on us or things change.
Yeah. First off, hot across the wire, apparently Rafa has got an $84,000 payout that was approved today. So way to take some money out there, my man. He's got other payouts of 60,000, 80,000. He's taking a lot of money out. One thing that's awesome about this card, Mick, and I think you alluded to it a little bit, there's 2 things that really stand out. A, this is an example of Yeah, if he's losing, he's usually hitting his daily loss limit. But you can see from that average winning day to losing day that he is entitled to lose that much money if he can make that much on a winning day. And you talk about the patience, the hold times on these long winning days. For instance, the day he made $52,000, if I can find it here, yeah, his average winning trade was held for 9 hours and 30 minutes. And
Yeah.
you see the same pattern on a lot of these big days, 6, 7, 8 hour hold times. But the thing that really stands out to me is looking at this list. I don't see, and we won't name the trader because we've talked about it enough, but I don't see any massive swings the other way once Rafa is flat, right? I see a day where his high flat mark was he was up $18,000 and then finished the day up $14,000.
Right.
I see a day, probably the biggest from flat drawdown he took is there was a day where he was up $7,000 and finished at plus 500. Is that great? No, but I feel so.
Oh, I lost Jack.
And there goes Jack. Piper down. We have a Piper down.
Okay, I'll try and pick up where Jack left off. Yeah, I'm Jack. It was really nice that he was commenting on, the equity high watermarks on the day. Oh, looks like Jack's back.
I'm back. I hit a button on my mouse on the side and it just disconnected me from vMix, which is delightful. What I was going to say is for that day he was up 6K flat and went back to his loss limit, most of the time I feel like we see people then take that to the loss limit, right? Um, I don't see a lot of that here. When he's right big. He doesn't give back a huge portion of it, and he's making enough that the loss limit is a fine daily loss limit for him. So,
Mm-hmm.
wow, incredible patience, man. It takes a special something to hold a trade for 9 hours. If you're up 52K, that means at some point you were holding a trade for 4 or 5 hours and you were up 30K or something. I'd love to talk to him more. I know he's not ready to come on TV yet. We have been talking to him about levels and such. I would love to know more about, on some of these huge days, what he is looking at to finally throw in the towel. I don't know if he's trailing something or just waiting for a signal the other way, but it would be super interesting to hear. I know the audience would be very, very, very happy to hear that. So great job, Rafa.
Yeah, all good stuff. You know, Jack, I'm happy we're bringing up, where they were ending the day on their watermarks. In most cases, locking in a very large percentage of the P&L highs for the day. That one day you mentioned where they were up 7K and stopped it at plus 500. Yeah, they gave back a lot, but that was kind of an anomaly there, and that could have been a day where they had size on and the market moved very quickly. Because if you got 15 on, I mean, you could be up or down, 10 grand in very short order. That might have been the case that day. At least they cut it off at a profitable day. The one thing you say is never let a good profitable day, a big profitable day, turn into a losing day. And while you could do better job managing, the money and keeping a larger percent, like, they didn't turn a big winning day into a losing day at all. So there's nothing to balk at about $500 walking away up $500.
Two more sexy day stats here. Also, I don't know if he was busy and had to leave, but yesterday, for instance, just traded
Friday.
it was Friday. One trade, two lots, lost $500 and was done. And then on August 7th, they made $24,000 that day. At some point, Rafa was flat and down $1,600. And I think what that goes to show is that a lot of the people who kind of run a gun and catch some luck, it's always feast or famine, right? You never know. If you just take a position and run it into your loss limit, you never know what could have been if you decided a trade wasn't good and got out. He decided to get out, down $1,600 for some reason, and then managed to turn the day into a 24K winner. And that's great. Not much to say here. Obviously, he's at the top of the board. He's a darn good trader.
darn good, and he's taking that $84,000 payout, which I can confirm I'm seeing on my end of things. And that along with the loss limit remaining at 3,000, he's still maintaining a very, very high account balance, even with pulling 84 grand out of that account. So this is something that we definitely need to see for traders that are trading big. Granted, he doesn't have the large swings to the downside, which is amazing. For somebody who can have 5-figure winning days and only risk 3,000. And he doesn't even string together a lot of these daily loss limit days. This is awesome. So I talk, I'll end it here at this, but with the people that have the big days, usually we see there's the potential for losing streaks to the tune of, down 3,000, down 3,000, down 3,000, down 3,000. We don't see that. And they don't always consider maintaining a healthy account balance. Rafa's doing things very well here, number one, and probably going to maintain that unless, some things drastically change. But seems like he's in good control. Speaking of good control and big P&Ls from last week, if we could, Jack, I want to move over to Liam, one of our other live traders who had a banger of a week last week. Liam, what did he make last week? I think he was up $20-something thousand on the week. I must have miswriting that down, but he had a killer week last week. He's trading in his live account. He's only been in the live account 12 short days. Today's 13. Like Rafa, daily loss limit today, but he's also killing it. That average daily P&L is really, really high for 12 trading days, similar to what we showed on Rafa's, who was about 4,800. Liam's off to a great start. He also doesn't have super high metrics here that are, you would think something that would go along with a trader who's wildly profitable. But with just 25% winning days and 23% winning trades, he's making new balance highs in his live account. And I will attribute those to this is a little. Go ahead, Jack.
Is that day on August 1st real?
No, it's not. That was a typo, so I'm going to correct that a little bit.
Good.
Jack's looking at the trade report, and I already adjusted the averages and stuff. I had to manually do them in a spreadsheet today because August 1st on the trade report, it's showing a $100,000 winning day. We didn't have that. It was a $33,000 winning day, though, Jack. So Liam, since he's been in the live account of all his trading days, which there's not too many so far, only 3 winning days, but those 3 winning days were for $34,000, $32,000, and then that $33,000 winning day. So his average winning day is $32,000 or $33,000, excuse me. Average losing day minus $3,400. And unlike I was talking about with Rafa at the end there, Liam is someone who is hitting the daily loss limit when they are having those losing days. So 9 losing days, daily loss limit hit, 3 winning days, north of $32,000 to $34,000. So this is really good stuff here. I'd love to see more winning days, but I don't have really anything to scold him too much on in regards to the trading because of those 9 losing days, they're more profitable on 3 of those 12 days. So all good stuff here.
Yeah. For the chat asking, his account size is 150K. He's doing this with a 3K risk limit. And when you get on multiple times, that's what we talk about earning it, is if you can make over 10 times your loss limit, that's going to buy you a lot of bites at the apple, so to speak. But it's only 12 days. I'm sure at some point Liam might want to increase the loss limit, but once again, it's if you're going to trade the same way, just remember that if you want to keep these same stats, you're going to need to make more to justify that. So something to think about, but really great trading.
I like what you said there, Jack, with the 10 days at 3,000 to wipe out one of those winning days. That's where you want to be. 10 losing days to wipe out one winning day. You don't exactly have to be there. If it took 5 winning days or 4 winning days to wipe out one winning day, that's good. 10 losing days to wipe out what you're making on average, and we'll see what happens. That average winning day of $33,000 is probably going to be tough to maintain, but that's what he's showing us right now. So what's a little different here from Rafa, what we were talking about, I want to go back to the account balance maintenance levels, because there are larger number of the daily loss limits being hit here, that Liam is going to need to consider, when he does go to put in for a payout, what he needs to maintain, for an account balance level, because he doesn't want to put himself in a position where, hey, wildly profitable here in this live account right now and everything that we're sharing is awesome. But if he's to go and, cut his account balance in half with a payout, he wants to be darn sure, and anybody watching in a similar position wants to be darn sure that you're not putting your back against the wall and you can still weather, several losing days or even losing weeks. So that's kind of what I would leave it at there.
Liam, by the way, is number 7, JD is telling me, on our live leaderboard, trading a single live 150K account. Great job, Liam.
Speaking of JD, I know you mentioned it earlier, Jack, did you hear we were anchored up for the Air and Water Show on a boat next to Paige Sporanic?
That's what I heard. How close you get?
Well, that's the boat right there behind us that she was on. She was sitting on the bow all day. I think Maxim had her sexiest woman alive for 2022. Actually saw her at a golf charity event at my golf club last year. It was supposed to be Beauty versus the Beast, her and John Daly. John Daly backed out at the last minute. I found out that morning that John Daly wasn't going to be there. They had a Wisconsin pro, I think John Kelly stand in. But that was kind of interesting. And once we found out that was actually her, we were like, oh yeah, it's definitely her. So it was a good day out there on the water.
Hard to miss. Well, nice. I'm glad you had that. Well, Mick, do you want to save this last card or burn through it real quick? Because we're running short on shoulder tapping time.
Let's burn real quick. Ronald. I was disappointed to see Ronald today lost his live account after 7 short days, 8 days in the live account. Not good trading. They had about 3. And the point I want to drive home and skip through all the metrics here since we're short on time is, he had about 3,000 in his account left today, and he risked 3,000. Not so bueno. Traders, you could be on a cold streak. You could be this, that. You could be struggling. But if you have 3,000 left and you go to $3,000 account balance left in your live account, if you're going to risk that 3,000, I'll just say that's unwise. I don't know why you would risk your live account, over a single trading day or even a single trade. I'm not saying it was a single trade, but you could frame that out a lot better than Ronald and say, oh, I got $3,000 left. If I'm going to risk 1,500, it buys me 2 days. If I'm going to risk 1,000, it gives me 3 swings at the plate. That's what you need to be doing. I know. And I would imagine Ronald's like, oh, I can sign up for a new trading combine. Maybe I'm already profitable in another trading combine. That kind of mentality is not going to help you in this business. Saying I can bail myself out by signing up for another evaluation and going through and earning a live account again. Yeah, sure, you can earn a live account again. But are you going to become a better trader risking 100% of the equity that you have left? Or are you going to be a better trader kind of grinding it out, as I say, and managing your account and your risk. So this was a really too bad for Ronald today. I'm sure he'll be back because he had good stuff in the XFA, but not something that we on the risk team like to see from a trader we call up to live. So take it more seriously.
I think the mistake was already made in that this, today it was the 100%, but with around $9,000 or $10,000 in equity, lost 3,300. That's too much. Then with about $6,000 left, lost 3,000 again. That's half the account. And at that point, he had the 4 winning days in the account. I think it's 6,000 right there. At least focus on getting the 2 winning days and just take it out. I would rather see him take out that last 3,000 than just try and send it, right? And it does. Let me see. Well, I can't see the stats for today, so I don't know what Ronald did there. But yeah, risking too much of your account. That's a common thread here. But hopefully,
It's putting it much more nicely than I was going to phrase it. But so I'm glad you said it and not me, Jack.
yeah, send with discretion. All right, Mick. Well, welcome back again. Great to have you here. I'll be seeing you a week from Friday, I believe. Maybe Paige Brannick will be there. Who knows? But thanks for stopping by. Everyone, we got group coaching next with JD and Hogue. You won't want to miss that. The Hogue Master is in the house. Mick, any last words?
No. If we're up money early this week, it's Monday. Lock it in, protect the profits that you've got early on, and hopefully we can go forth and profit a little bit more this week.
Let's get those tickies, as Andre would say. We're going to take a quick break and be back with JD and Hogue. See you then.